Hello, everyone. I am Lynn, and I'm going to thank you all for taking time out of your Wednesday to join me today for my live stream. And if you hear a bunch of noise in the background, we are having some crazy winds. We went from it being freezing and tons of snow, and then today it is 50 degrees outside with more rain and more snow on the way. So welcome to the Midwest here. We never know what we're going to get. Most times we see all 4 seasons in the same week, and this week is no different. So, yeah, if you hear the wind, I apologize. It can be probably a little distracting on your end if you're wondering what that is. I'm fully prepared to see Dorothy and the Tin Man out my window here at any moment. So, having said that, I thought I would take a look at some of the readings I did this week and let's just have a conversation and see where it takes us. And real quick too, sometimes you'll see my eyes go back and forth. I'm trying to keep up with the chat that goes on the right hand side because I love the comments you guys give me, and it really does spark ideas and help me come up with maybe different readings to do, things to talk about, lets me know what you guys are all interested in. So I really do appreciate that. But if you see my eyes veer over, that's what I'm doing. Other than that, also don't forget to hit the like button. I'm trying really hard to grow this community. It's so great. I love what we have over on the Telegram group, and we're slowly getting there. We're navigating and pushing through all the censorship. So it's people like you that go out there and share my work that really does make a huge, huge difference. So one of the things I'm going to talk about was the big game. You can't say what it's really called because, of course, they have it trademarked, but I thought it'd be fun to talk about it. And, going into this weekend, everybody kept saying to me, Lynn, what's going to happen? Is there going to be some big event? Because we never know. It's a few times a year, a ton of people get together like that. Is something going to happen? They're going to maximize on it. What can we expect? And I remember waiting and thinking about it, and I kept thinking to myself, oh, I should do a post on this. And then something just in me, I don't know, it's like nothing was coming forward, no big thing was coming forward, and I'm just, sometimes I get these topics and I just didn't really see anything. And then it hit me when I got the Simpson meme, when I saw the one where they had gone in and predicted that, who was actually going to be playing the big game and that kind of stuff. And so I did end up doing a post on it because someone I had ironically, and really I don't believe in coincidence, I think it was meant to be, had sent me a question on my Subscribe Star and wanted to know about the Simpsons and something they had seen in the Simpsons, and it had to do with beaming people and them after they got the beam were just acting goofy and foolish, and is that kind of some kind of sign? And then I saw that meme about who they had predicted to actually be playing in the game, and I'm like, all right, I need to think about this a little. I ended up putting something on the blog about it, but I thought it would be something fun to talk about this week as well. This predictive programming that they put out there, it's just really, it was really puzzling to me. And I think the thing that really bothered me about it, or I don't even know if bothered is the right word, but there is so much censorship and so many things that people cannot say. I mean, there's people running my algorithm right now to try to analyze my words and, tie me to some list or grouping, which I can't even imagine how many of those I'm on. But, with all that going on, why are they picking winners and losers as to who can say what? And it's always suspect when things are allowed to get out there because there is so much truth in plain sight. We cannot deny that exists, but why is it allowed to exist? Why are certain programs out there allowed to reveal things, and other things, if you say something, you're shut down, deleted, they get rid of you? And it came to me when I was working on that post and some other things that had crossed my path that they allow it to happen because the way that it's presented, they do it in this comedic type form. They do it in such a way that it can be plausible that it's a joke, but yet it's still out there. So I guess I would relate it this way. When you hear something and you think about it and then you kind of laugh it off and you let it go, you're putting it in the collective consciousness and then you're laughing. Laughter is a very high vibration anyway. joy, excitement, all those things. That's a high vibration. So you're taking in this truth in plain sight, viewing it as a joke, laughing about it, and injecting it into the collective. It helps further the chance that it's actually going to really happen. It's almost brilliant in a way. And these evil people at the top, they know, they understand psychology, they understand their black magic, they understand all these kind of things. So they allow these things to be put out there in a lot of different cartoons. There's another cartoon out there called Rick and Morty. I've never, I think, watched an entire episode, but I've seen little snippets of it. People have shared things with me, said, hey, Lynn, look at this. You're not going to believe what they're revealing here. Or maybe after an event happens, and then they go back in the archives and they start pulling out little sound bites of things that people have said. And you're like, wow, they put that out there for all of us to see. We all took it in. They're talking truth and we're laughing it off and not really taking it serious for what it is. So you're not only taking it in, you're almost giving permission and allowing it and helping it to happen. I would relate it to watching someone maybe steal something, but you don't speak up and you don't say anything. Or maybe you even laugh like it's a joke. You're, by not, I guess, rejecting it or not stopping it or standing up to it, you are essentially allowing permission for it to happen. At least that's how they see it through their eyes. And to some extent, a lot of things they've put out there have come to fruition. The Simpsons, I know they had put some kind of an episode out there about a famous marathon that was ran and some things that happened during that marathon. That was true. They put some things out there for an event where some buildings were destroyed during the month of September. Again, I'm working my words creatively here, but I think you're all following me here. But regardless, they put this stuff out there. And then when we laugh about it, I feel like it just further injects it into the collective and helps them to work their agenda. So my big takeaway in thinking about all of this and even bringing it up last week when I put it out on the blog, if you see someone out there that's able to speak the truth and really convey their point, take a step back and really do a little critical thinking of why are they allowed to speak this when so many people can't? If something's reported as news or alternative news or broadcast in a way that's more like reporting, they are so filtered in what they're able to do. But when it's put through like a joke or comedy, at least in this scenario, it's almost encouraged and they put it out there and they laugh. And then you also have the disinfo people that, in case something does catch on a little too much, that they can go in and shut that down as well. But I just thought that was really, really interesting. And an observation that I had a good takeaway from last week, and that they're taking our highest vibrational emotions and tying them into this truth to just further reinforce what it is that they're trying to accomplish. And then I wanted to talk about the actual big game itself. So when I was thinking about it, I didn't really see anything huge that was going to happen. Nothing that was so stand out that I had to do a blog on that itself, like some major thing. But I wanted to watch it, not in terms because I'm this big sports person, because I'm not, but it was more curiosity because I know there's a lot of subliminal messaging with that. There's a lot of just a little cryptic-ish things that they do, commercials, the halftime show, all of that. So I'm watching this, and I think I'm more in tune to the actual commercial itself because the game, to me, anytime I tune into it, feels as though I'm watching some pre-scripted play. I think the actual playing is very real, but I think there's key things that are supposed to happen, or certain people have to win regardless. I just saw it more I don't know, just seemed not very interesting to me. So I'm tuned more into the commercials to know, what is the messages that they're going to be pumping out right now. And you also have to remember that the NFL has really reduced a lot of viewership over their recent disrespect of the flag and the things like that. Because, I mean, football, that is so American. That is a lot of grassroots for the country. And when people start to go against that and start going against the culture tied to it, yeah, you're going to have those that are diehard that still do it, and you're going to have those that get on the bandwagon of going down that belief system. But there's also a lot of people that still stay true to it, and their numbers have been impacted by that. So anyway, I'm watching these commercials to see what is it that they're doing, because are they going to try to get their viewership back up? What is the message the NFL is sending out, or this big game, whatever? And I saw a ton of I guess what I would classify as social justice signaling out there and things like that. And there was one commercial that really stood out where they're doing home beer bug test. I thought that was really interesting as well. So they want to really try to get a different population, I get, of people being interested in watching the big game and their sports. But they also want to keep that fear going too. And, they're so concerned about the beer bug. We got to do these home tests, that kind of thing. But overall, just kind of very blah. Not a lot stood out as far as commercials. So then the halftime show, I thought, man, this is going to be, something's going to happen. And it's my generation. I grew up with that music. I've been known a time or two to be at the club and dance to that music. I'm not going to lie there. But so I was pretty excited, bringing back some of my history here. And I go and I'm watching it and I'm realizing, I'm like, this is just very, I don't know, it just seemed very like there was some kind of virtue signaling happening, something like that. I couldn't quite pick up on what they were trying to do, but it just didn't, seem that great personally. Everybody has their opinion. I'm just sharing mine. And that's not to debunk. If you maybe loved it, that's on you. For me, it just didn't really do anything. So overall, the whole big game was just kind of, okay, nothing super huge here. I see what they're doing with all the virtue signaling. I get that. That's just our culture now. And now it's already seeped into the sports. We'll see what the reaction is of the people to that. So then I'm having this conversation with someone because I had told him, I was like, man, just nothing really happened. Nothing really stood out prior to it that I thought was going to happen, but you never know. And then in reality, no big deal. And then they said, you got to realize what happens behind the scenes, that the big game isn't just a big game. It's not all advertisements. It's not all, what happens during the halftime show. You're getting all these rich people spending thousands upon thousands of dollars to sit in a stadium. So you have all these people together. What better way to do other activity outside the stadium, because everybody's collected in one place? So perhaps, just perhaps, the big game, sorry, I almost said it, the big game, maybe the whole reason for that, or one of the motives for that, is just to get people together so they can do their trading of whatever product they're trying to trade. I hope we can all read between the lines here. We can do that because all these rich people are together. It wouldn't be abnormal to have a couple famous people or people with money doing some discussion privately somewhere, or meeting up afterwards at somewhere else, because you're all together. You're all in the same city. So when that was brought to my attention, then I realized what one of the main motivators for this big game is, and why all these people are here. Some, yes, might want to watch the show, but others might have a private deal that they're working, and they need to meet with someone else who's also trying to work a very similar private deal. And then it dawned on me, this thing is way more deeper and creepy than I even would have thought, because that rang more true to me than probably anything I had thought up to that point. So I would be really curious your thoughts and what you pick up on that energetically, or if even just hearing my words, you're like, yeah, that's what these guys are up to. That's what these powers that were are really trying to do. Just truly evil people, and they do this right in plain sight. And that's really all I can say about that. I'll leave you with that. I also wanted to talk about another reading I had done this week, and I had done a collection of readings, and I called it Murder Mystery Monday. And I'd like to know if you guys enjoy me doing those type of readings. I know they're a lot longer. I think the video was probably 20 minutes. And what I do is I do my reading and I have it typed up. And then when I go to do the video, I use what I have typed up as my notes to refer back to. So it was pretty lengthy. And I always have my little ad lib as I start talking to add more to it and to tell you and explain what I'm coming up with and why I've come up with it, and just to explain myself a little better. So I've been curious if you like those collections that I do, and sometimes I collaborate with other people as well and do those longer readings. So it's always fun because occasionally I'll get so many things queued up that I don't have a chance to hit on each one of them. I try to put out several new items of content each week, usually at least 3, and then I put a couple on Subscribestar. So if you haven't checked me out on Subscribestar, you might hop on over there. I do have a link to it in the comment box of this video when I go and I publish the replay version of it. So I put new content out on the blog, but then I also have a couple new ones that I don't have on the blog that I have on Subscribestar only. So I don't have enough days in the week to hit everything, but I love all the questions. So occasionally what I like to do is, grab 4 or 5 of them and do a reading. And I'd had quite a few on some cold cases and unsolved mysteries type of a thing. So I called it my Murder Mystery Monday. And I put it together and I put it out there. And I had some good feedback. And I was curious how you guys like that, if you like the longer ones. So yeah. And I remember when I very first started doing this, I was really into, at least what I thought, doing investigation type stuff. And when I was in my development classes, there was a cop that was also a police officer that was in that class too. And her and we had connected. And I remember at one point she said, hey, we've got to meet up. She had some cold cases that she wanted me to work on. And so I did help out with a nearby police force and helped them and propelled them with some stuff. And I thought, man, maybe that's what I want to do with this, because I love helping people. And I like feeling like I'm making a difference. And anytime you help someone with something like this, like a cold case or a murder mystery, you're helping the family get closure. You're helping just like justice. There's just a lot of things that happen. You're putting, sometimes a spirit to rest so they feel like they can move on. There's a lot of good that comes out of it. It's very intense. I can definitely say that from the work that I have done. But yeah, I thought that might be a path I want to take with this. I ended up going more toward personal interactions, but occasionally I will step in if I'm asked and have a look at something else. And when I was doing this reading on Monday, it really reminded me of doing that, because I was so entrenched in it. The one that really stood out was the Australian one, where a couple, it was New Year's, and they were going to go stay in this yacht. And when they went over to go get on it, this smaller boat taxied them over. There wasn't room, or they decided they weren't going to do it. And they decided not to board. Well, another guy that was on the taxi boat, he said, hey, come on over to my boat instead. We'll party. You can sleep there. There's plenty of room. Not so noisy, but you can still enjoy your festivities, kind of a deal. So he lured him over, got him on this yacht. But when I was doing the reading, And they were trying to figure out who this guy was, because they thought, wow, if you get the identity of the guy that owns the yacht, then you'll know who's invited him over on the yacht, right? Well, I got the guy lied. The yacht that he took him to wasn't even his own yacht, but he got him on there, and I got that he was the one that actually murdered him, and then he disposed of their bodies later. But I got it was just this whole twisted thing. And the one interesting thing is, when I'm doing these readings, I cannot tell you how many times that I'm tuned in, and even I shock myself. I'm like, you can't even make this stuff up. It was, sometimes I am doing a reading and I am so surprised by the end result of what I got. I just think this should be a movie, because truth is stranger than fiction. And yeah, I got identified the wrong guy. They did arrest the wrong guy. The real guy that did it, he had a boat there, and I kept hearing the name of it, and I put it out on the blog. It was like a schooner or schooner. I don't even know, because I'm not that well versed in boats and know that much about boats. But he had one parked over there, and he used that boat to dispose of the bodies. But the real yacht owner, they arrested him, and I don't get that he really did it. Someone posed to be him, but it wasn't really him. And yeah, very twisted. So yes, definitely these cases are very, very strange and very cool. But yeah, so if you guys like stuff like that, please keep them coming. And occasionally I'll just do a collection, or I'll maybe just do one at a time, depending on how my workload and my week is flowing. But they're definitely something that I've gotten a lot of good feedback on. So you'll have to let me know your thoughts as well. And then the last thing I wanted to hit on while I have all of you guys here, and again, thank you so much for showing up today. And I wanted to talk about the Gateway Project. So someone had asked me about it, and I thought about it. And when I look at the blog and I look at the different things and decide, what question am I going to pull? Initially, I didn't get like a big tug at that. And then someone else seconded it. They're like, I want you to talk about this Gateway Project. So I'm like, all right, I need to go in here and give it a go and see really what comes forward. And it was another one of those kind of a aha type reading where I started on it. And basically the Gateway Project is the CIA's released this information and put things out there, and I guess either encouraged or educated people on abilities to, kind of tap into more intuitive perspectives, and, through the use of binaural beats or different things out there, really enhance the skills they have. And it was really this cognitive dissonance within me, because you have this thing that's good, but then you have the CIA tied to it, which didn't make sense. Anything government, you always have to question that, right? They're handing it out for free. Why are they sharing this information? Just immediately my spidey sense went out that something was really ominous. It was like, you have this thing that's great that they're sharing, but then at the same time, I'm like, something's not right here. So what I did was I sat with that emotion to try to figure out, where is this coming from, and why am I being, I don't know, alerted, or why am I feeling like something is just not right? And then it came to me. They are wanting people to open up and get curious, explore their abilities, just basically be very open-minded to anything and everything, and be in touch with their gifts, which sounds great on the surface. However, I know from my own experience, and I've gone through a lot of development and a lot of, practice with this. You can't just open yourself up randomly, because anything and everything on that other side is going to rush you. Usually high vibrational beings, they don't necessarily do that, because they're able to communicate, they're around, they're kind of at peace. But these low vibe things on the other side, once you open up, man, they're like, wow, we have a gateway. We have a way to get through here to be heard in the 3D. And that's what they're doing. It's the government, the powers that were, all these people, they're into all this dark stuff. They're into dark rituals. They're into, everything. I mean, heck, the first magic wands and all that were made out of Hollywood. And you got Hollywood, like, they're all about putting this low vibe stuff out there So what do? They get people curious. They get people wanting to explore their abilities, but they're not teaching them how to protect themselves. They're not teaching them to only deal with high vibrational beings or the highest frequency energy out there, or connect with source, connect with God, any of that. They're not talking about anything in those terms. They're just open up, explore your gifts. Here's how you do it. Even helping people with different frequencies they can listen to help open them up. But they're not really posturing it in a way that allowed you to do it responsibly. When I put the blog out there and I was explaining it and explaining how I've come up with the way I feel and my perspective on this, I equated it to, you might show a kid fire, but you don't give them a match and not tell them how to do it safely. You don't, it was like putting a Ouija board in the game aisle in the grocery store. They give you just enough to be dangerous, but they don't really protect yourself. And then the other part of that is then you get people scared. And then that's how entities come to be. That's how people end up having this dark stuff hanging around their house, or worse, and more severe, drastic situations. You have this being come in, and then you start hearing it. And then you start questioning, and then maybe this thing, if it's strong enough, might start trying to tell you to do things that you shouldn't be doing. It just a whole plethora of stuff that could happen. It's just a recipe for disaster. So when I was thinking about this whole gateway project, I'm like, to a certain extent, yes, gather knowledge, but if you don't know how to really refine what you're doing, it can be kind of disastrous, because you might end up waking up something or having something around you that you don't want. And if you don't have the confidence or know how to get rid of, then you're dealing with that. So just be cautious. So anytime the government wants to give you stuff for free, always question, what are they doing? If they want to relay information, or they want to teach you something or anything like that, always approach it with healthy skepticism, because there's typically another side of that. For everything that might appear to be good, look at what they are gaining on the other side. I mean, whether it's data extraction, whether it's using you and you're being naive or vulnerable, anything. It seems like all the stuff that they give you, I don't know, they're not going to just do it without something that they're going to gain back. At least that's my take on it. I'm just sharing my perspective, my intuitive take on it, and my opinion. So you may feel different, and that is totally fine. But you'll have me play back in your head probably the next time that you see something for free and hear Lynn saying, okay, what's going on here? Not to make you paranoid, but just to make you alert and really think about what you have going on. So, yeah. All right, folks. Well, we are at the bottom of the hour, and this has been great. I've enjoyed sharing some things that have happened on the blog this week. I hope you have enjoyed it too. I plan on meeting back next Wednesday, and then I might start doing every other Wednesday. I'm not sure. You'll have to let me know if you would like to see this more frequently, if you enjoy these type of live streams, and just rehashing some things that have been going on over the week. So by all means, let me know what you think. And don't forget to like my stuff. It really does help me out. It makes a huge difference. It means a lot to me. And I will leave you all with that. I hope you all have a great week. And I will see you next Wednesday. So you all take care. Thank you. Bye.